Let's see. You're here, Sergio. Do I have your permission to read this and speak with you about this here and now, or do you want me to respond to you privately?
No, here's fine. Here's fine.
Okay, cool, man. I'm going to go ahead and read it then. Cool. So things have overall been well. I have recently moved in with my girlfriend, and this has been in the process of settling for the last few weeks. Okay. She was in a bind with her living situation, and I decided to move in with her to help her out. We are still not in the best place, if I had to be honest, but I'm hoping and will be working to improve things as we move forward. Going through the kink initiation has definitely helped gain better perspective on things. Just have to implement and keep consistent. That's right. Amen, brother. Considering that it has been a bumpy road, both of us still have her fears and things we need to heal individually and together. I have to get better at being emotionally strong and available for her. Looking forward to being more steady with my tracker. The move has been a bit disorienting. Have aimed to keep engaged with my austerities as much as possible. Will be attending tomorrow's video call. If I had a question to consider, it would be this. How do I balance moving myself forward with meeting her needs and being there for her, especially when she's going through her fears and insecurities? I find it hard to move between my world and hers. Thank you. Hope all is well. So Sergio, I'm just going to shoot from the hip here and give you my first instinct. And that is her fears and insecurities, are founded on the reality of the instability of her life. And as a woman, it rests in you. And so you are for better or for worse, I don't know your relationship history, I don't know her, and I only know you, briefly, you're new. But this is the case for women across the board because they're vulnerable, right? And so whether she's physically pregnant or not, a woman requires safety and security for the proliferation of life. Like, they can't fend for themselves physically in the wild, even when they're not pregnant, but she's in relationship with a man, so the body and the psyche is sort of oriented towards family and children and procreation. I mean, you're probably having sex. If that's the case, then whether you're having sterile sex or not, the energy is there. And your relationship with her, how stable it is going to be, and how stable you are as a man is going to determine how she feels. That's across the board. That's just basic gender relations stuff. To the degree that this sense of instability is related to trauma, meaning, she's been in and out of many, many relationships and men have come and gone, and who knows, all kinds of things. I don't know her situation. She's an older woman. She probably has a lot of baggage. I don't know how long you guys have been together, but that would have something to do with it as well too, right? If she's been in and out of relationships, or she's had bad experiences with men, which I vaguely remember you telling me something like that, I'm not sure, that's all going to lead to her anxiety. And so you've chosen her. For all intents and purposes, you just moved in with her. And so, like it or not, you've decided to make her your responsibility. And so, to add fuel to the fire, her instability is her instability, but you also now have a liability. So your relation, the whole thing is on shaky grounds. You can't fix her any more than, how could I say this? Somebody who is, I don't know, I don't have, it eludes me. I'm thinking of an analogy. but you got to be the stable rock yourself first. You know, she rests on you. Man, a woman rests on a man, right? Regardless of what feminism has taught and what the culture thinks and what the Barbie movie says. I don't even know. But a whole woman's sense of self-worth rests on finding a man, right? Like a man in his life, I'm going on a little tangent here, is outward focused and oriented in building and, you know, conquering out. For a woman, it's her inner circle. And it's and her sense of being is extrinsically linked, deeply linked to her man. A woman gets her identity from her man. I don't know how else to say it. It might sound crazy to people, but it's true. And if her man is not stable, she ain't gonna feel right. And if a man is not stable, the relationship ain't gonna be stable. And of course, she ain't gonna feel right. So what do you do? Well, the very first thing I have to call you out on, and I know you're new here, so maybe you haven't heard me say this, but in the most emphatic way, I want to relay that moving in with a woman is crazy. It's crazy. You moved into her crazy ass world. Follow? She needs you for safety and security and stability, so you moved in with her. What does that say about your stability and safety and security? I don't know, maybe she has a better pad. Then what does she need you for? So you just moved into her crazy frame, her house, her bed. And who knows whatever has happened in that house, that's hers. That doesn't spell safety and security from a firm foundation for a man. She got to move in with you. That's what you got to do. And I don't, just tell me, because I'm on a roll here. And so if I ask you a question, keep it succinct. How, lost my train of thought.
Yeah.
How long you been together?
3 years.
How old is she?
She is gonna be 25 this month, actually, at the end of this month.
How old are you?
31.
Why are you moving into a little girl's house?
I had my living situation set. Everything was good. I was good. She had roommates that moved out last minute, and she was basically gonna get kicked out herself because she couldn't afford where she's at because her roommates moved out. So it was a bit of a sudden decision, and I do admit that I can be prone to impulsive behavior, and I think that brings about the problems. But I decided to be like, well, because she had roommates, her space is a little bit bigger than mine because I was just living alone. So all her roommates moved out, and I just kind of made that decision, that impulsive decision to be like, okay, fuck it, let me just move in with you, and we'll figure it out as we go.
Are you smoking weed?
No. I smoked a little bit during the move because, again, it was disorienting. I did feel that sense of, damn, like I'm leaving my personal space, my sanctuary, you can say, and
Yeah.
And again, like, that's what
So you already sold your place? Your place is done, that's it, you're out of there?
Yeah. And I've been here officially like a week.
Okay. Well, boots on the ground, like real shit, like what needs to happen? Y'all gotta get out of there. You gotta move out of there. If you're serious about this girl, which I'm my assumption it is that you are,
yeah,
you gotta get out, you gotta go lease a place together as quickly as possible and get out of her old place.
Yeah.
You know, because even above and beyond the logistics of it, just the sentiment is flawed. You can't be in there. You can't be in her place.
I see.
When's
Yeah,
the lease up?
it's yearly. It's yearly.
When is it up? When is her lease over?
I guess it would be next year around like in August, beginning of August.
Oh, damn. So you got a whole year?
Yeah. Yeah.
All her friends left? Why didn't you move her into your house?
I guess because she had roommates or housemates. Her place technically is a little bigger. It was a little bit bigger than mine,
Yeah.
and she kind of preferred for her to keep this space, this house, because technically my space was a little bit smaller because it was just me renting it, and that's kind of what brought about that decision.
Okay. How long has she been there?
She's been here also like around a little over 3 years. So she was fresh here when I started talking to her.
Okay. Well,
It's
yeah. Definitely, man, like I get that you're spontaneous. I'm the same way. Like I do shit spur of the moment. And I'm just gonna tell you what one of my coaches told me.
yeah.
Use me, come and talk to me, ask me a question before you make a big decision like that.
Okay.
That's what you paid me for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that you don't have to go alone.
Yeah.
Just run it by me. Yo, E, I'm in this bind right now. That's what I told you on our call when you signed up. I said, yo, you got 24 access to me. Like if you're ever in a bind, whatever you're dealing with, hit me up. At least you can get my perspective. You know, of course, it is what it is now, but you know, I would at least have given you some options maybe that you could consider and slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
But you're already here with this. And
Yeah.
so your question, let's go back. How do I balance moving myself forward with meeting her needs and being there for her, especially when she's going through her fears and insecurities? And given the circumstances that we now know, I find it hard between my world and hers. Okay, that last statement that you make is what is encapsulates the challenge and the solution. You have the challenge and the solution in the very last line of what you said to me. So let me read this out loud. You asked the question first. You say, how do I balance moving forward and meeting her needs and being there for her, especially when she's going through her fears and insecurities? And then you say this, I find it hard to move between my world and hers. That's everything right there. You moving into her world has just exasperated that, but is a paradigm that you're coming from that needs to be checked. You're not moving between her world and yours ever. As a 25-year-old girl, she steps into your life. It's not about her life at all. And that's not to say that you denigrate or disrespect or don't honor her as a human being, but you're the man.
Yeah.
You don't sink into a woman, and this is just a flawed paradigm that the whole culture is living from and has been beaten into our heads, that we somehow owe some kind of lenience or allegiance to a woman's whims. We don't. It's the other way around. We're the leaders. And she's 25 and you're 31. You're a grown man. She's still a teenager, practically.
Yeah.
You gotta be her dad. Where's her dad? Let me ask that.
She has a bad relationship with him. She doesn't like seeing him. She doesn't really speak well of him.
Okay. Well, and so you're her substitute dad because you got tattoos all over. She wanted a bad dad, and now she got one in you. But you're a good guy, and you want to do the right thing.
Yeah.
So you've adopted a child. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's okay. If you could see it that way, and she brings something to the table. She's got to be worthwhile. She can't just be a drain on your life, because you don't bring shit into your life. You don't bring anchors into your life. You bring things into your life that enhance your life, especially something as significant as a wife. And you've been with this girl for 3 years, and now moving in with her, she's your wife.
Yeah.
She's your wife. And so one of the first things I would do for your sake and hers is get serious about what that is.
Yeah.
And I'm not telling you what to do. You got the boots on the ground. But if you want to help her over her fears and insecurities, and you want to establish that frame so that you could be the man, you got to marry her.
Yeah.
That's just the lines of way things are done.
Yeah.
I get that institutional marriage is damaged in the court system and all that shit, but you know what? It really wouldn't matter if people knew how to have marriage and family. Who cares what the state is doing? Who cares what the government is doing? Who cares? Nobody gives a shit, because you know how to have marriage and family. Yeah. And so there's no threat of divorce. There's no threat, right? There's no threat of shit going crazy, right? But she might be crazy and you might be crazy. So, when you got a bunch of crazy people, relationships don't work. Yeah. So you don't have to answer this now, but it may be something you want to think about. Is this a wife-worthy woman? Yeah. Because otherwise, what are you doing? Why are you wasting your time? Whoa. What are we actually doing? Moving in here so I can save you? What am I? I'm just Captain Save-A-Ho? Like, what is this? Are you going to be my wife, or are you just going to be this anchor that I'm saving and you got problems? You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And if you're going to be my wife, and this is for you to think about, because she has to prove that she's worthy of being your wife, what does she bring to the table? Does she bring a hot pussy and a lot of problems? Or does she bring real value to the table? And you got to determine what that value is. I want a woman that's clean. I know it sounds so cliche, cooks and cleans, but what's more important to keeping a home and a family than cooking and cleaning? If the people are malnourished or sick and unhealthy because of what's being fed in the house, and the place is a mess, how does she keep her place? That's a question I have for you. I would love to know the answer. Does she keep a nice place, a clean place?
Yeah, I think to answer it in fully, she does have a lot of value that I see, and I think that's why I made that decision. And even though she's had her traumas that make it difficult, and I've had my bullshit too, I have to admit, I do see her as that. I do see her as a wife, and I think that's kind of what influenced my decision. I might not be doing it in a practical good way, but I guess that was what kind of also added into like, okay, fuck it, let me do this impulsive decision.
Okay, cool, good. So just expand now, start thinking a little bit bigger, and taking on that role, taking on that masculine role, that husbandly role, that patriarch's role, because that's what you are, that's what you're choosing to be. You get to make it work, bro. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's that's where I'm at, and that's what I want to do. Yeah.
If you can find a way, and I mean this in a compelling way, a seductive way, a way that makes her want to play along with you, you have to make that house your frame.
I see.
I don't know if Arnold is here, but he's got some experience with that. I saw him again earlier, but he went with a woman and moved in with her and started building some stuff in the backyard or whatever. Like, he was like trying to homestead that shit out and make it like his.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out because it wasn't his, it was hers. But, that doesn't mean it won't work for you.
Yeah.
You know, it's a rental. You got 1 year.
Yeah.
And you do your best, however you do it, you know, it's totally up to you. But it's got to be a situation where when you put your foot down in that house,
Yeah.
it's because it's your house.
Yeah.
Either literally or metaphorically. Like he just understands, hey, I'm saving you right now. And so we got an agreement. See what I'm saying? Is your name on the lease now?
Yeah. Yeah. It is.
So you're the primary on the lease?
We're both on the same. So we're both basically together on the lease.
Okay, so both you're equally responsible on the lease.
Yes.
And a part of that frame building, and I'm just brainstorming with you here, man, is establishing a vision for the future.
Yeah.
Huge. You can't, for a woman, first of all, a woman joins a man because he's going to take her on a ride.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of women leave men later on, because the man gets boring because there's no more ride. So you got to sell her on a ride. And a part of that ride is you explain to her that we're here for 1 year. Well, your name's already on the lease, but maybe you don't even need to leave. But it would be nice if you had a place that was, well, you guys already moved in, so maybe maybe it's unnecessary. You're both on that. But sell her back to my point about selling her a future. See, men get with women because of what they are. This is great. Men get with women because of what they are. She's beautiful. She smells good. She makes you feel good. She's fun to have around. She's nice to have around. A woman marries a man for who he can become, who he's becoming. Get that for sure. And the world doesn't understand that right now. That's why there's such disparity. But that means she sees potential in you, and you got to keep showing her why she sees potential in you, by inviting her on a bigger and bigger vision every time. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Cool, man. Well, what was most useful for you there?
Everything. Honestly, I needed to hear everything, even like the more harsher truths of like having, making a decision in the first place, or maybe not. It might not have been the best, off the get-go, but I'm here now, and a lot of it, everything. I needed to hear all of that.
Okay, cool, man. Well, I'm happy to help.
Appreciate it, Elliot.
You got it. Done.
Thank you.